Hello guys, this is assignment number 4 and today we're going to see how I personally manage my information. And I really like using Word here because it's very easy to take notes. Unlike, I really think Excel is like very, well, not complex, but it's very uh, crowded, I guess you can say. Very compact compared here, what's very free. You can even add pictures if you want to. Uh, so you can do that, but I really like using Word for my notes. So today we're going to talk about three sources. First off, we're going to talk about the Axis Alliance, which we already did talk about. It comes from Holocaust Encyclopedia, which is this one. And so we're quickly going to go over some of the bullets. As we all know, the Axis Alliance were made out of troublemakers, right? Uh, in 1937, Japan attacked China to start the war in the Pacific, while Germany attacked Poland on September 1939. That started the European War, which did start World War II. Italy joined those two in 1940 after the defeat of France. And in this bullet, we can see that Germany and Italy were already like pretty much friends, as it shared a common goal, a common interest in taking down the European order. And they later announced the Roman-Berlin Axis 1 week after signing their friendship treaty. And here we can see that in 1940, Germany, Japan, and the newly introduced Italy signed a pact which will be later known as the Axis powers. Those three were going to be, uh, the bad guys. and in July 1940, you can see a couple months before the pact, and weeks after the fall of France, Hitler thought it was a good idea to attack the Soviet Union, which will later be known as one of his biggest mistakes, as the Allied powers, which were made out of Great Britain, the U.S., and the Soviet Union, defeated the Axis powers later on, winning the war. And here's my link to Encyclopedia, Holocaust Encyclopedia. That's the link. And now we're going to go to Historycom. We're going to talk about Pearl Harbor again. Pearl Harbor was a naval base located near Hawaii that was attacked in 1941 by Japanese air forces, and more than 2,400 Americans died in the attack, with many which were civilians, adding to another 1,000 that were wounded. And that day, President Roosevelt declared war on Japan. In conclusion, the attack at Pearl Harbor destroyed nearly 20 American ships, not shops. They destroyed nearly 20 American ships and over 300 airplanes. And most of the docks and airfields were destroyed, by the way. But even with all this destruction, the Japanese failed to cripple America's Pacific Fleet, as battleships were no longer important at that time. America was already advanced. At that point, they were already using airplanes, and it was the aircraft carriers that were important, and those were not even at Pearl Harbor. They were not at Pearl Harbor at the time of the attack. And here's the history. Here's the link to history.com. And now the last source we're going to look at is the Library of Congress, which is a very trusty site. We're going to talk about the entry of the United States and the impact it had to the Americans, actually, after the war. American life changed forever once the U.S. entered the war. That's a fact. Millions of people entered the military and saw parts of the world that they have never even seen before. Because of this, people moved everywhere, to the Atlantic, the Pacific, everywhere. Like, as we do today, the military moves everywhere. So that was a new experience for the American people. When the war ended, the country was in an economic boost, the biggest in the whole world. As an effect, American society became wealthier after the war, more than any American could have ever imagined. they would have never imagined America becoming, wealthier after the war, right? Because before the war, they had the Great Depression, which was probably one of the worst times America has ever had. Although there's many horrible times in America, as well as good ones, though. Countries, even the deaths that the country suffered during the war were small compared to the other countries. And in 1944, the GI Bill of Rights was passed, in which the government gave money to the returning veterans so that they can go to college and buy a home and some land. So it kind of reassured the veterans that returned from the war. It also helped them better themselves, and so after that they started forming families and having children in large numbers. Hence the baby boom, and that's why nowadays there's a lot of older people known as like the baby boomers. We hear that a lot. There were a lot of babies born during that time. And here's the link. Here's the link for uh, Library of Congress. And that concludes my assignment. Thank you guys for listening. I'll see you guys in the next one, which is going to be the project, I believe. Yeah, it's going to be the project. All right, guys. Thank you guys so much for listening. And have an amazing week. Bye bye.